What is up, guys?
You.
Me? Well, see, I don't really be eating dragon though. Because it's more of a meal for kings, and I'm more of a peasant, really. But they don't actually eat us. It's a common misconception. They actually eat gold and treasure, and that's why they're always sitting on a pile of it.
This dude's starting off with the "It's always sunny" quotes.
I was hearing the sunny music in my head.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. So what are we talking about today?
Dragons. Show me dragon.
Show me dragon.
I like how you worked the peasant thing in there, like you haven't been playing Chivalry 2 obsessively in the last few days.
Well, it's actually on the top of my notes here. It's in big letters right here.
Peasant?
No, the quote.
Oh, you wrote it all down.
That was the beginning of my note-taking process for this episode.
I'm fully convinced that we're doing this episode just because he wanted to make those "It's Always Sunny" references.
I'm gonna be honest. I put this on there. I put the quote on the notes, and then I took a break.
He's like, "All right, I got the important part done. Now I can move on to the other bullshit.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter." So,
why are we doing this episode? I don't know. Why do y'all think we're doing this episode? Because I said let's do dragons.
Pretty much. No. I think I don't know. Fantasy, mythology. Like, I feel like a lot of this stuff that's very like fantastical it's all like an allegory for some real spiritual stuff. Like it means something. It's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's like symbolism. It symbolizes ancient magic that's like long past or lost on us or whatever, that the world used to be so much more magical than it is now. That's like a lens that you could look through. Like, we talk about that sometimes, how like maybe the world has lost its magic because of, who knows, distractions or whatever. That's kind of how I see it.
Jumping around a little bit, that's funny. You said we've lost our magic here because medieval Christians believed in dragons because dragons were in the Bible. So medieval peasants, even though dragon's not really a meal for peasants, medieval peasants actually believed in dragons as real because there are dragon from scripture in the Bible, which I have that. But
sweet.
I want to start at the beginning. So
the Great Red Dragon.
That's
the Red Dragon is based on Revelation.
That's also right. That's also funny because there is like this conversation that like, oh, dinosaurs didn't exist because they're not in the Bible. Like, you know what I mean?
Because they're dragons,
right? It's like there's a dragon in the Bible. Like, why do you?
Well, we also haven't said this yet, but the main reason you had proposed to do this idea, which we thought, wow, that's a great idea, was because we have just entered into the Year of the Dragon in Chinese astrology.
Yes,
right?
So we will be on the 10th of February is Lunar New Year.
Right, because as you know, you learned on this show that New Year's and Chinese New Year are not the same.
It's not the same day.
Right.
Wow, that's a throwback right there.
Right?
Yeah.
That's one of my Hall of Famer moments.
I just don't understand why we got to have like different years. You know what I mean? Like
different years?
Yeah. I mean,
we have different days?
Yeah, like different years, bro. Like our year.
And what is up with the leap year?
Yeah. Seriously, what's up with the leap year?
What's up with that?
You know, it's crazy. I'm about to rock your world.
It's a leap year.
Do you know that? Now, you'll have to look this up. But I'm like 99% positive that years are actually 360 days. And they add the 5 to account for leap year. Like if it was based on like the real Earth revolving around the sun, it would be 360 days.
It's something about that.
No, yeah, I think you are close to...
Because it's like point something days.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so they just round it off.
I think what it is like it's not exactly... Like a day is not exactly 24 hours. Like there's some small discrepancy in either the hours or the days or the days in the year or whatever. And that's why we have to have the leap year. I'm
going to be honest. I don't know why I'm kind of nervous.
Because we put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Well, that was his idea.
Honestly, I think it's because I have these notes. It's like, because this was a thing in school. When I had my notes, I was a terrible public speaker. But when I was actually like well versed on the subject and didn't have notes, I was pretty decent.
So what you're saying is you're not well versed on this subject.
I'm saying I crammed dragons. I really have a lot of information here, but I did cram dragons. I'm excited.
Yeah, all jokes aside, like, I think dragons are one of the coolest things ever, and I'm actually pumped for this episode.
You're actually wearing Shinron on your back.
I am.
Was that coincidental?
It was.
Oh!
I did not
Wait,
mean to.
Go to your left.
To my left?
Yep, there it is. Hey.
Dragon
Ball.
Dragon
Balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the hypest theme song ever.
That's probably the best of all the Dragon Ball Z theme songs.
hell yeah, bro.
Wouldn't you say, Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure, it's sick.
Yeah, that was my favorite, actually.
Ironically, and then we'll move on past. I know we got stuff to talk about here. Ironically, though, I feel like Alex would be obsessed with DBZ if he really like.
This is the endless conundrum that we have, is that he should be one of us, but for some reason he resists it, and he doesn't allow it to. And then every time that he like tries one of the things that we're begging him to do, he's obsessed with it. He's
Name one.
Star Wars.
I could name 3, bro.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Star Wars, Chivalry,
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. There's 3. How about that?
How about that?
How about
All right, let's get into dragons.
Yeah, let's get into the dragon.
All right, so 2024 is the year of the wood dragon.
The wood dragon.
Okay.
The wood dragon. The last wood dragon year was in 1964, but we'll get into that.
Oh, Woodstock.
All right. So, think of wood, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, okay, let's get into what does this mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wood, right? So wood, you want to think growth. And I personally think like sturdiness. And then I also want to say that like this is all interpretation, right?
Sure.
Like you're going to go to different websites and different places and get different information. I mean, you're going to kind of have the same underlying tones here, but it's all like very interpreted.
You may not know the answer to this. I'm just curious. So is it like I've never heard of it being referred to as like wood dragon. I just thought it was always just year of the dragon or whatever. Do they like every time dragon comes around, do they like go to the next element or something?
Yeah.
My question is it that way with every one of the songs?
I'm kind of thinking
because
that
they're like
it is.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
I did not know that.
So like for me, I'm born in 98, and 98 is a pretty sure it's a fire tiger.
Dude, I want to know this now.
What?
We should look up our years.
Well, what are you? 93?
93.
I'll look up mine while y'all are doing that. I had no idea that was a thing.
So you're a water rooster.
Nice.
1994 Chinese zodiac.
It's a dog, right?
Yeah, it is dog.
I was crushed as a kid when I found out I was the rooster.
Why?
It's lame, dude. There's like dragons and snakes.
The rooster's
And
badass.
Rooster's pretty sick, dude. I'm a dog.
that's infinitely more powerful.
And
universally loved.
Nick.
Yes.
94 is the wood dog.
Wood dog. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So okay,
Were you a fire chicken?
Water.
I said chicken. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm a rooster.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to do that. I'm sorry. I'll call myself a wood puppy from now on just to balance it out.
I have a rooster story if you guys want to hear it.
Please.
So
I've got
roosters are
tons of
kind of like dragons.
y'all know who this
They
is.
are.
But me and my buddy went to get one of our favorite tattoo artists was doing a get what you get, which is it was a D100 dice.
Oh.
And you rolled the D100, and whatever number you flipped to that page in a 100-page book, and you got that tattoo.
No
It was
way.
like a binder full of images.
It was $100 for one roll, 100-sided dice, one tattoo, right? And you had to get what you got, or you could pay $50 to roll it again. So
how big could it be?
the die.
Don't you have-
it was a
don't you have-
flash. It was a flash tattoo. So it was about think like 5 by 3
Don't you have one,
piece of paper.
Alex?
Yeah, I have one.
You should show him after.
Oh,
I'll show you after.
That's not bad.
No.
That's I would do that.
It's a good deal.
that's a pretty like sizable tattoo.
I would do that.
And I
That's
never
cool.
had a tattoo before, but this guy like did all my buddies and all my other buddies. So like well-respected dude, great guy. So we show up. I roll. I got a knife. I got a rose with a dagger through it. So like pretty American traditional, like cool.
Yeah.
And then my buddy rolls. Y'all know him.
Ian.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Shout out Ian. Love him.
Shout out Ian. Rolls, gets a rooster.
Yes.
He showed me. He's got a rooster on his
And-
thigh.
Yeah. And he was like, you should have seen his face when he flipped that page in the book.
Oh,
He loves it now. It's his favorite tattoo.
Oh, that's awesome. See, I feel like that's a good move for your first tattoo because some people just put so much pressure on their first tattoo. I was doing
It's got to be deep.
Yeah, I was doing it for years. And then finally I was like, if I don't pick something, I'm never going to pick anything. And then they announced that Sora was coming to Super Smash Brothers. And I was like, I'm getting a Keyblade. Like
That's a sick tattoo, though.
That was it.
Yep.
Thanks.
Well, so I looked up the meaning of mine afterward. It makes it cooler to me is the duality of man.
The knife through the
It's
rose?
the rose and the knife. It's like the beauty and the pain, or I don't know. But
Oh,
the
that's
duality of man
That's cool.
is the traditional meaning. But
I dig
anyway,
that.
let's get back to it. I found green and yellow are going to be like the colors of this year,
I love it.
because green for
Those are my college
dragon
colors.
and yellow for trees.
Oh,
Like yellow, brown, bark, and then green. I don't know.
Did you say yellow for the dragon?
Either green. Yeah, I just wrote down.
Dude,
green and
you're
yellow.
writing a yellow dragon in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And then like rebirth and revitalization are going to be kind of the theme. So like
Ooh.
wood comes from trees, trees grow, and then dragons are like fierce animals. So like let me look through this here.
Damn, dude, that's so cool. I didn't know that there was the whole like element thing added along
I
to
didn't
the
either,
zodiac.
Yeah. I didn't either.
I mean, to be honest, I've never dove super deep into zodiac. I'd like to at some point because it's always fascinated me, dude. I remember being a little kid and going to like a Chinese buffet, and on the menu they have like descriptions of all the zodiac signs and like all the animals and stuff. It's like something for you to do while you're like waiting for your food or something. And I was always like, what? Like this is crazy. How come I didn't learn about this in school?
Right.
Damn it.
So year of action and changes, which kind of goes along with that rebirth and revitalization thing. It's like a big like empowerment year. And it's also interesting because it's an 8-year too.
Ooh.
So 8 is karma and money.
Uh-huh.
So you're kind of taking, and last year was a 7-year, and don't ask me about the year of the cat or the year of the rabbit. I didn't brush up on that before this, but we're taking what we learned from a knowledge 7-year and using that to like empower ourselves, good karma and money in this 8-year. And I think that partners really well with the dragon. So it's kind of like a big willpower. I also saw speech coming up a lot, like speaking, carefully, but speaking like truthfully and speaking deliberately. So I thought of it as like removing ands and ums, but really it's more of like removing the gossip, removing the fluff, and really speaking with intention.
The fluff, yeah,
which is
that's
really
cool.
interesting, and all falls back into the like empowerment part of it.
That's so sick. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking like it's going to be a good year.
Yeah,
Year of growth.
I sure hope so. I'll take that as a sign.
So yeah, Chinese New Year, growth, success. Let's see. Wood symbolizes humanity's aspiration to achieve, progress, grow, and expand. The year of the dragon represents health, strength, and good fortune.
Damn, dude.
So you take all this, right, and then everybody's like, "Oh, well, what? Like, predict the future? Like, what's going to happen this year?" So I'm like, all right, how do you predict the future? You look at the past. So I thought, let me pull this 1964. I just went to Wikipedia. I said, notable things that happened the last wood dragon year that we had. It was 1964, right in the middle of the Vietnam War.
Well, also, wasn't that the civil rights movement?
It was
64?
Yeah.
I mean, it was right around then. Yeah. Was
Yep,
it? Did
all
it,
of that kind of happening at the same time.
Wow.
So I took, I just went through the wiki list and things that I thought were interesting. I wrote down. So this is not a comprehensive list.
Sure.
This is just like what Alex thinks is cool from 1964.
I'm stoked.
The first meeting between the Roman Catholic and Orthodox Church since the 15th century.
Wow.
It was Pope Paul VI and Patriarch Athenagoras the first of Constantinople meet in Jerusalem.
Wow.
Whoa, that's huge.
That's really cool.
in
because
hundreds of years.
That's really cool because in the next episode, I was going to briefly talk about the Council of Constantinople.
Wow. That's like monumental.
Yeah.
And talk about growth. Like, we're talking about hundreds of years since the last time these figures have met. Like, that's tremendous growth.
Yeah.
The last wood dragon. Like,
So that was like probably the coolest thing that I wrote down.
that's sick.
No, that's super cool.
What are the other ones?
Okay.
This is a really fun topic.
Yeah.
United States Surgeon General Luther Terry reports that smoking may be hazardous to one's health.
Okay.
Wow,
Okay.
So, like, I read that as, like, okay, breakthroughs in
Yeah.
medicine, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we're going against the grain here. Would
Well, dude, think about this. Prior to then, legitimately, this is not bullshit. They were like telling people smoking is good for you.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially through the 50s when it was like really blowing up, Lucky Strikes and stuff.
oh yeah.
I love Luckies.
So,
Not an endorsement.
don't be putting that out there like that. Look, some kids are gonna start smoking some Luckies now, dog.
Yeah, do it unfiltered. don't get the plastic.
Great advice from Alex. I do see that as like tremendous growth though for humanity to flip the ridiculous claim that it's good for you to being like, hey, this is bad.
Yeah, it kills so many people.
Yeah. What's next?
All right, next, France and the People's Republic of China announced their decision to establish diplomatic relations.
Okay, let's go.
World politics stuff.
All right.
Relation stuff.
Yeah.
The People's Republic of China can be hard to get along with sometimes.
Sure.
Next, really cool. Cassius Clay, then Cassius Clay,
Hey.
crowned the heavyweight champion of the world.
Woo!
And then changed his name to Muhammad Ali.
In 64?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yo.
The GOAT, dude.
That's the GOAT. That is
I
the
love
GOAT.
him.
Yeah. I mean, it's like hard for me to pick between him and Mike Tyson because I love them both so much, but Mike Tyson himself is like,
Have you
every
seen
knee will bow.
every
like,
tongue will confess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you see where they were on a talk show together and they said Tyson, you versus, and he was right next to him. He said,
Oh, yeah,
you
I saw
versus
this.
Ali in Ali's prime, who's going to win?
Yeah.
And Mike was like, him all day.
Oh,
and they were
100%.
both just so humble, like, no,
Yeah.
no, the other
Yeah.
guy.
They both were like that to each
That
other.
was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
cool.
Muhammad was saying, like, I'm scared of him.
He's like, I'm not strong. I'm just fast.
Yeah, he's like, I'm scared of him.
Yeah,
ain't
I
messing
love
with him.
that, man. How they're both humble towards each other. That's
Dude,
so cool.
I
I
was listening to Rogan the other day, and he was quoting Tyson, and Tyson left the gym for a long time, and then was talking about how he was scared to get back in the gym.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
Because he was scared to light that fire again.
Dude,
he's like,
yeah.
dude, I will be unstoppable again. Like,
I wrote a short story about Mike Tyson after hearing that quote. It inspired me so much.
dude, that's so cool.
Like he says like, I'm afraid to get in there and do it because if the old me comes back, hell is coming with him.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, you got to be a monster to like for that to be your mentality.
The dude's a
I
monster.
can't exercise because if I do,
Yeah,
I'm gonna turn
I'll
into
connect with that old version of myself. Like,
whoa.
yeah, I love
Dude,
that.
he's a master at his craft.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
also just a master of shit talking and intimidation.
Oh,
like
dude.
not even, I don't even want to call it shit talking because that implies it's not even good.
It is.
You know what I mean? It's just masterful.
Poetry.
Yeah.
It's poetry in the most visceral way. Like, what's cool about that is Muhammad Ali. His shit talking, if you want to call it that, was like actual poetry, like rhyming and like
float like a butterfly,
sting like a bee. Yeah,
Yeah.
literally, it was poetry. And then Mike's is like, he's angry and yelling, but the things that he's saying you've never heard a human utter before.
He's
in
like,
your
I'm
life.
gonna kill you. I'm gonna cut your head off.
I'm gonna make you mine.
It's
Like,
pretty evil stuff.
yeah, dude.
You know, but that's why I like Mike Tyson so much. You know, because he was so dark in the past, but then he was like redeemed.
But
he changed.
And also like he viewed and views himself like in the context of boxing, he views himself as like a demigod like warrior class. Like he's not like I'm a boxer, he's like I am a warrior.
I mean,
they asked him in an interview like recently like if you could fight one fighter of all time, your number one pick, who would you want to fight against? And with the straightest face in the world, he said Achilles.
damn.
He said Achilles, and they were like, oh,
like
what?
hand to hand.
Yeah, they were like, what? Why? And he said he was the greatest to ever. He was the greatest conqueror to ever exist. He's like, I want that. I want that title. Like, dude, if that's your North Star,
That's
is like,
hard.
That's as hard as it
That's hard.
gets, dude.
Yeah.
Achilles. Like, no one expected him to say that. These are two just
Bro, find the
absolute
Achilles
legends.
in the thing that you do and go beat that man.
Yes, dude.
Like, get fired up, bro.
That's-
it's the dragon year, bro. Just do it.
do it.
You're firing me up right now.
I'm getting fired up, dude.
God,
Are we all
yeah.
getting fired up?
Dude, I feel like we should all just
We
like,
should box.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just start banging them out, dude.
Yeah, let's start boxing.
I'm serious, bro.
Yeah.
I like fighting. No. I mean, I like just as a
sport.
sport.
I do too.
Highly respectable.
It's scary. I love that we're going down this tangent.
On the dragon episode.
Yeah. It's like scary because like real permanent damage can be done, and you have that moral quandary of like, should this be happening? But it's like some people are born to fight, and it's like if you don't want them out there busting heads in public and just like wreaking havoc on,
get them in the ring,
getting themselves into horrible situations, and put them in an area where it's regulated and there's safety and stuff like that. Sure, things still happen. I mean, things happen in football. People get concussions all the time in football, so it happens. But like, you gotta give it up.
Nothing cool is safe.
That's not true.
And
that's not
like,
I don't know about that.
Like nothing is really ultimately safe. Like crossing the road is not safe. That's what I'm saying. All right, well, let me go back to what I wanted to say.
We're musicians.
Hold
There's
up.
nothing unsafe about what we do, and it's pretty fucking cool.
A string could pop and just like hit
Shut
you.
up.
All right. No. What I wanted to say is I think for so many years before this comfort that we live in and like most of the world lives in, like fighting is just reality.
Yeah.
Like that was an everyday thing. And
That's
I think
fair.
it like something about the sport just like takes you back to like roots. Like, right. There's nothing more primal than just going at it.
All right, Liver King.
No. Whatever. All right. Moving on.
No, I love combat arts too.
Yeah.
Great little tangent on the freaking dragon episode.
Yeah.
The Dragon of the West, bro.
Way of the Dragon.
All right. Y'all are going to love this one.
Okay.
1964. The Italian government asks for help to keep the Leaning Tower of Pisa from toppling over.
No way. That's a thing.
I guess.
Oh,
Unless this is one of those where someone went into
They're like,
Wiki- it's falling. It's falling.
It's falling right now. Get somebody over here right now. We need help. Yo.
Oh man,
so
gotta love
That's
the
a
wood.
national crisis when that thing starts
That
leaning
is.
too hard.
They hit the red alarm button. It's like,
Yeah, the Italian president's desk is the red button is for the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Priority over the nuclear clearance.
right. Yeah. Damn, dude.
All right, Nick, this one's for you. 1964. Constantine II becomes king of Greece upon the death of his father, King Paul.
Okay. All right. Cool. I don't know.
And I read that and I said, Greece still had a king in 1964.
Yeah.
May he reign.
They only very recently like adopted. It's so funny too. They recently adopted democracy again because they invented it. Mm-hmm. But they were enslaved for 400 years and their whole socioeconomic state flipped, and so whatever. Yeah.
All right. The American Jerry Mock sets out to become the first woman to fly solo around the world, completing her flight on April 17th.
Let's go. That's huge growth.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sick.
And then Gemini 1 is launched as an unmanned test.
Let's go,
Nice.
Geminis. Rise up. Rise up.
Rise.
Yep. And then this is the last one. It's estimated 400 to 1,000 students marched through Times Square, New York, and another 700 in San Francisco in the first major student demonstration against the Vietnam War.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
You said how many? 400 to 1,000?
Yeah, it's in Times Square, and then
That's a lot.
another 700 in San Francisco.
That's what I'm talking about right
That's
there.
crazy.
That's what I'm talking about.
In the war. They're all in like flower dresses. And, like,
Yeah.
Little, they're the hippies,
bro. Remember that scene in Watchmen?
Yeah.
Oh.
The alternate version.
That's
They
a
gunned them down.
visceral scene.
Yeah.
Whoo. What a movie.
You ever wish you were alive back in the hippie times?
Sometimes, yeah.
I really do, bro.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes.
It's like low key.
You know why?
Why?
I would
music.
flourish.
The music?
I just think it's the best. Like the 60s to the 80s, there's like the music. Just there's nothing better.
Yeah. Sure, I guess.
Until that
I have
Flightborn
different
came out.
reasons.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about right there.
I have different reasons.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You don't want to disclose those?
No, never.
Right. Okay. You just wanted to drop a little hint for everybody. Tease everybody. Yeah, okay.
Why do you, Nick?
Me?
Yeah.
Why do I wish...
No, the other Nick.
Well, a couple of reasons. One, I think that like one of the coolest things ever would be to see Jimi Hendrix play music live. Like
That would be cool.
I feel like that is an experience that every human being that didn't get to do that was robbed of. Like he's one of the most groundbreaking musicians of all time. Also, I mean, Woodstock is possibly like the most legendary concert that's ever been put on. It was a time of like breaking out into new patterns of thought and new ways of thinking and like broadening horizons and breaking down borders, and so much progress was made in that time, and like the civil rights movement, and it just seemed like, you know, it's the closest we ever got to really like the age of Aquarius. And then it's kind of,
But I really think we are almost there. And then they shifted things with the whole Manson debacle and just kind of like shocked the world, you know? Like sometimes I wonder, like, is it possible that timelines can change? I don't know. I mean, what do I know, right? But
right, you can't help
certainly feels like something was changing.
Yeah, you can't help but ponder it. And also, like, psychedelics were becoming a thing back then. Like, everybody was doing them. Like, what would that have been like?
It was so rampant that they literally did the Manson thing in '69, which we already know. I mean, we're pretty well understood that was not just a coincidence.
It's been disclosed.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was a manufactured thing.
Yeah.
And then boom, 1970. Psychedelics are, war on drugs. Like,
Yep.
definitely. Like it seems like people were rapidly waking up en masse. And
I think so. Yeah.
yeah, very cool time.
So, we'll shift a little bit here back to the dragon year.
Right.
I guess we never left the dragon. Whatever. So, the best match for this year, obviously, if you're a dragon, it's your year. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Monkeys and rats also going to have best match with this. People who have a match, not the best match, but a match, are going to be rooster, snake, pig, and horse. And then, Nick, I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
The true enemy signs, so the polar opposite on the wheel is the dog.
Don't let that scare you, because last year I was an enemy sign, and I had a pretty
You had a great year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of
Some
good
things
stuff
happened,
Yeah.
but it's
I
also
need a
like
good
with
year.
every-
Let's manifest it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like truly your enemy year, the dog.
Okay, great.
But also ox and goat are no match.
What does that mean for me?
Well,
what does that mean?
The way I interpret it personally is like if it's your enemy year, it's more of like a lay low. Like it's not a time to like start things.
Uh-huh.
But I was really interested because I don't remember my last enemy year because I wasn't like conscious of this information. So I was kind of like really paying attention to Ryan's enemy year last year, which was also my fiance's her year. She's a cat or a rabbit, depending on who you believe. And I think Ryan had a pretty good year.
Yeah.
It was tough at times, but that's every year.
It's
You know what I
kind
mean?
of like I feel like if things come easy to you when it's your year, like things just flow. And sometimes you just have to work a little harder when it's your enemy year.
It's like a challenge that you have to rise up to. Like if it's your enemy year, it's like the final boss. It's like you gotta buck up and
It's
fight
like-
the final boss.
I think it's more like you're in a storm.
Like
You're in a storm and you just have to weather the storm. Like it doesn't change your life. It doesn't like change the day to day. You still have to do what you have to do, but it's just like that much more annoying.
All right.
You know what I mean?
That's interesting because like since the beginning of the year, I feel like I have been
Well, we're not there
active-
yet.
Okay.
It'll be-
Oh, you're right. February.
technically, we're not
You're
there
right.
yet.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. They're different. We've
But
learned.
It's also like I don't think that these energies are like what I'm trying to say. They don't fit in the box of the year. I think there's a lot of overlap. Just like with Age of Aquarius, like it's not like it's going to start at this time.
Right.
It's
Right.
like it's
Yeah.
it's like a slow.
Yeah.
We could
fade.
never possibly know like the moment.
There's
that
no
you-
Right.
pinpoint.
And,
Yeah.
I think it's that way with this. So like you're saying, it's like we're starting to shift into that dragon energy.
Yeah.
Even though it hasn't technically started, but we're starting to feel that a little by little. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Yeah.
Epic.
So I just kind of have some like, let's see, what are they called? Little paragraphs here. This is more in the, so I did the Chinese interpretations, like the Chinese dragon year, and then I did the Vietnamese dragon year.
Ooh.
So where with the Chinese take on it and the Vietnamese take, and the reason I did that is because they have the discrepancy between cat and rabbit.
Okay.
So the Chinese believe last year was a rabbit year. The Vietnamese believe last year was a cat year.
Gotcha.
So let's see. Blessed as they are with the tenacity and intelligence, dragons are equally renowned for reveling in challenges, taking pleasure and spending countless hours working towards conquering whatever opposes them. The flip side of these positive traits is a tendency to have a legendarily short temper and an inability to take criticism.
Ooh.
As is often the case in life, the strengths of those born under the dragon sign are wrapped up with their weaknesses. Emperors in ancient China were identified as the sons of dragons, and at that time, ordinary people were not allowed to have items with pictures of dragons on them. Chinese dragons are symbolic of being lucky, powerful, and noble, not as monsters as they are portrayed in Western stories.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I know dragons are venerated in Chinese culture.
Yeah,
as,
like gods.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you've never seen like one of those paper dragon, like the festival where they have the paper, it is like the most beautiful thing. It's so cool. And
it's really cool when you start to get into some of the like some of that, the history.
Yeah,
I got some of that.
Oh,
here.
yes,
we're getting there.
All right, so the Vietnamese,
yeah.
What are
so
they?
The Vietnamese, let's see. So dragons in Vietnamese culture are symbolic creatures from Vietnamese folklore and mythology. According to ancient origin myth, the Vietnamese people are descended from a dragon and a fairy. The dragon was symbolic of bringing rain, essential for agriculture. It represents the emperor and the prosperity and the power of the nation, similar to the Chinese dragon, which is also influenced and appeared in Japan and Korea as fierce but benevolent serpentine dragons alike. The Vietnamese dragon is a symbol of yang and representing the universe, life, existence, and growth. Yang being positive, male, day, active, sun, logical, hot, hard. Like that's kind of a yang energy.
Damn. That's so cool. When you think of dragon, do you immediately think of like the worm, WYRM, like they look more like a snake with little feet, like the Chinese
dragon?
Yeah, serpentine, like, or do you think of like fantasy dragon with the big chest?
It depends on the context.
Right?
Yeah. It really depends on the context.
I feel like I've just like immersed myself in so much fantasy that's just immediately what I think of is like the big chested, like short arms, but like, your typical fantasy dragon.
Me too.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. So I was hearing dragon and sea serpent kind of used interchangeably. And when I hear sea serpent, I think legless.
Right.
And when I hear dragon, I think wings.
Yeah, same.
And then I'm thinking, sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
I was just going to say, kind of off this subject, but it is weird when you really like boil down to it and think about it. Nearly every ancient religion system had some sort of dragon or you know, mythological serpent being. I mean, even the Egyptians had, the great serpent of the darkness, Apophis. You know, in Mexico they had the flying sky dragons. The Mayans and the Aztecs.
Yeah.
Quetzalcoatl.
Yep.
Kukulkan. They're the same being, I think.
Even like all of the different mythologies, like there are dragons in almost every mythology that you can think of.
I'm just saying, it's weird.
It is.
So dragons, like they go back 4,000 years ago in ancient Babylon. But what's really interesting is we have all of these texts of dragons, but no pictures, except until we get to like the map.
Well, when was the camera invented?
Like illustrations,
photos. Dude, this is a UFO like phenomenon show, and you're asking about pictures.
Where's the evidence?
Where's the evidence?
I meant illustrations.
Show me one picture of a dragon.
We said there's no pictures.
No picture. I'm out.
Yeah. Come on.
No. So what's really interesting, and we'll get a little bit deeper into this in a minute, but there's no like cave drawings in the East. Nothing. No illustrations of dragons until they found in the Grand Canyon. Native Americans had depicted dinosaurs.
Wait. okay.
Because we know that like a lot of the dinosaur bones, and I'm sure you'll hit on that later, so
Yeah.
I'll leave that open-ended. But a lot of dinosaur bones, they've found that they're typically out in the West, like Utah, Arizona, that
Right.
Grand Canyon area.
Yeah.
So this kind of sent me down a little spiral here. What if they're all kind of real? Like in the way that you have farm pigs and wild boars. You have it's the same animal, but you have sea serpents, you have dragons with wings, and then you have these lizard-like animals that are more dinosaur-esque. So it's really, we're kind of really dancing the line here because we have so much of this in story and in myth. So the ancient Babylon creation myth from 4,000 years ago. So there was a she-dragon that went in and slayed all the Babylon gods, except for
Tiamat?
Yep, Tiamat.
Oh,
She's like the chaotic. She's the dragon of the darkness.
Yes.
Of
Yes.
chaos.
So she came out of the void and started whooping ass on all Babylonian gods.
Yep.
Except the sun god Marduk. Marduk or Marduk?
Marduk, the son
Marduk?
of Enki.
Yes. So Marduk slew Tiamat in a cosmic battle and then formed the heavens and the earth with her dismembered body.
oh, dude.
And then dragon blood created the humans.
Oh, that's so cool.
But again, we have this notion of some sort of divine substance being infused with the creation of humans. We're divine beings. We're made from
Right.
dragon's blood. Or like in the story of Dionysus, he's resurrected with the ashes of the Titans.
Yes.
Right? It's this same story over and over. We're part of the divine substance.
Yeah, and Lord of the Rings, the Maiar, those like elder, like angelic beings, they raise humanity up out of the ground. Like it's always some divine purpose that's bringing humanity to existence.
Yeah, but I'm saying that it's in us.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like dragon's blood made us.
Right.
We
So-
have that spark.
Which is really interesting because in this creation myth, the dragon represents this chaos and disorder. But then the dragon is slain, and then order and reality is born from the slain dragon. And then I keep kind of thinking in my head as I'm writing this down with the wood dragon year. So you have like the dragon, the tenacity, the chaos, and then you have the wood being the builder or like the prosperity. So you kind of are like yin and yang with the dragon year and then it also being a wood year. So it's very interesting to me that we're doing it at this time, I guess, and it's wood dragon. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it.
No, dude, I really feel like it's going to be a good year for us.
Yeah.
Well, for everybody. Like if
Yeah.
it depends on your perspective, honestly.
For
You
sure.
know, like the potential for everybody to have a good year is there. Life can get in the way, but I just feel like there's an energy going into this year. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it's because of what I've gone through personally, but I
It's
keep
also
saying
you're
it.
coming out of your enemy year.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe from a personal perspective too, it's like, okay, like
This is the first year that I was like, I'm so ready for a new year. Get behind me.
see, and that's interesting too, because you weren't thinking about it being your enemy year when you said that.
No, I just was ready
It's just
for
the-
something new. Yeah.
Kind of the energy. Not to scare you, Nick.
I'm scared.
No, it's okay.
Too late.
It's okay. You've already been through
Yeah,
an enemy year before.
yeah, I have.
Yeah,
I feel like the last few years have been enemy years too.
You know what, though?
We're gonna rise above.
In all seriousness, though, although there's things that you're dealing with that are tough. Look at all this amazing stuff we're doing together.
Oh, I'm so blessed.
not all bad.
I am so blessed and grateful for the things that I have. For sure. For sure.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
So then we get to the Bible.
Let's get to the Bible.
So Old Testament God creates a dragon, Leviathan, on the 5th day, and then slays the dragon on Judgment Day. And that's from Isaiah 27, verse 1.
So what does that mean? Like, why is that just popping up in
So
the Bible? Is that the only mention of dragons?
No, that's
No, there's multiple.
There's multiple, and I have 2 written down. That's one of the 2 I have written down.
There's one. The Leviathan is mentioned in Job.
I don't have that one.
Well, we're going to talk about this in the next episode, but there's a split in like the biblical scholarship community. Some scholars believed that the book of Genesis was the first one like ever handwritten, and then some actually believed that Job was way older. That even though the stories, like in the canon, Genesis would be the beginning, but there's a belief that Job was written many years earlier. Like you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And in the book of Job,
It's like Star Wars, right?
Kind of, yeah. But there's two mythical beasts in the book of Job, and it's the behemoth, which is a giant like land beast, and the leviathan, which is like this, I guess, giant sea serpent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see.
Revelation, your dragon in the book of Revelation.
There
Yes,
you go, yes.
the angel slayed the dragon and then threw it into the pit. And that's from Revelation 20, verse 1 and 2.
Yeah, there was wasn't it like a 10-headed dragon or something like that? Yeah.
But in the New Testament, the dragon represents the devil.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like the master serpent, I guess.
Like the Antichrist, right?
Right.
That
But it's
old
also,
serpent.
Yeah.
Because the Old Testament, the Leviathan story where he creates the dragon and then slays the dragon kind of goes back to that ancient Babylonian myth.
Yeah.
Where the dragon is created out of nothing and then slain.
Hey, wait a minute. It's clicking in my brain because, like I said, okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. In the next episode we're going to record, we're going to do some.
And the one previous to this.
Yeah.
Is it going to come out before?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. You guys know we record, multiple at a time. But in the Bible history episode, we talk about, we are going to talk about, but I guess you'll hear it first. When the first biblical texts were written, it's actually believed that they were written during a time when, and this is, a real historical thing that happened, for several hundred years, the Jews were in slavery in Babylon.
Right.
And as they're writing these texts, they're learning from Babylonian culture and religion. And you just said that ties to the Babylonian myth.
Whoa.
So there's just more evidence right there to support that. We have this ancient Babylonian myth of this dragon being created and then slain by God, Marduk, the son of Enki, who was the son of Anu in their system. And Anu was like the supreme god. And then you had Enki, which would have been like their Zeus figure. And then you have Marduk, which is like the prince, savior figure or whatever.
Light.
And then we have the story where, like you just said, it mirrors the Babylonian myth where the dragon was created and then slain on Judgment Day. So that's a cool little synchronicity there that we're doing both of these episodes back to back.
I'm also really happy that I have Ryan approved research.
Yeah.
That's a big one for me.
You start throwing around Babylon, I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
Like that's some fun stuff to talk about.
So I guess, and then this is where we tie back to that medieval Christians. So medieval Christians reading the Bible then are like convinced dragons are reality because of the Bible.
Yeah, it's in the Bible. They're like, oh my God, dragons are real.
There's
And then you
unicorns
get
in the
into
Bible.
all this medieval story.
Yeah, there's unicorns in the Bible. There's all kinds of stuff in there that people,
Huh?
There's all kinds of stuff.
Old Testament or New Testament?
I'm not sure.
That unicorn? Come on now.
Think about it, bro. It's not that hard to make a unicorn. You just get a horse and put a horn on it. I'm like,
the Scottish, I'm not sure if it was on the flag or I'm not really that. One of their
I'm a flag
national
guy.
symbols was a unicorn.
In Scotland?
I'm pretty sure. I could just be talking out of my bum, but
you look it up. I got my hands full over here.
yeah, I'm looking it up.
Dang, dude.
But this is
Dragons
not the
and
unicorn episode, so I'm sorry.
While you're
Yeah,
looking it up,
TBD.
I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
Because then dragons, so this is all kind of going on in the Middle East. Dragons enter Europe in Libya in the 3rd century. So the legend says that the dragon was terrorizing the Roman Empire outpost, and a Christian soldier named George killed a dragon, and that ushered in Christianity to the Roman Empire. The Christian crusade then was going on in the Holy Land some years and years later. And they found that this crusader group found themselves outnumbered, and they were about to concede when the ghost of St. George and an army of angels joined their ranks and helped them defeat, I guess, their enemy. And then George became the patron saint of England.
Dang, dude, after his ghost came back and slayed a dragon?
Yeah.
What? Dude, that's straight out of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's-
Also, if anybody cares about the unicorn situation, it's mentioned 8 times in the Bible.
8 times?
Eight
Whose flag
times.
is it? That's what I want to know.
Scotland.
It was Scotland's coat of arms.
Nice.
Yeah. God brought them out of Egypt. He had, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. Numbers 23 and 22. And then you have Numbers 24 and 8. God brought him forth out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. He shall eat up the nations his enemies, and shall break their bones and pierce them through with his arrows. There was another one that I thought was really cool.
That made unicorns sound really badass.
Oh, listen to this one. Psalm 22:21. Save me from the lion's mouth, for thou hast heard me from the horns of unicorns. So like thousands of years ago, they had this idea of like a horned unicorn. Like, or the Greeks a cyclops, or all these cultures dragons. Like why do they all have these ideas of these things that existed?
Yeah, but also, why is it called a unicorn and not a unicorn?
Yeah, that is a great question.
The biggest issue to happen with humanity was to make unicorns this feminine figure. Think about it. You're using
Wait, where is this going?
No, unicorns.
They are so cool.
And they're feminist, like feminine.
They're feminists.
They're feminine.
Yeah.
Like, you think little girls.
When you think unicorn, you think little girl in a pink room with a unicorn.
Right.
Yeah.
Think about this. You're using horses for battle.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine if it's got a built-in horn,
bayonet.
like a triceratops.
My horn can pierce the sky.
My horn can pierce this guy.
Dude, that goes hard. I'd ride a unicorn.
Yeah.
Just saying.
When I hear unicorn, I think about Oblivion. There's one unicorn in Oblivion.
I've always secretly thought unicorns were like super cool.
They're awesome.
They're awesome.
They're so sick. But again, why unicorn?
Yeah.
That's the etymology of that is messing with me.
I don't know.
Like,
so that's kind of the end of my non-conspiratorial.
Well, you didn't go into any of the
research.
dinosaur stuff.
I know that's conspiracy.
Oh, we
So
got
if-
dragon
okay.
conspiracy.
If we want to continue talking about the actual,
no,
fact of it.
get
Okay.
into it. Come on,
into the
we're
conspiracy.
setting you free. We're unchaining.
Okay, this
you.
is. I had to do all that research just so that I could talk conspiracy on the show.
Now this is the real
All right.
episode.
So the conspiracy is that dinosaurs never existed, but dragons did, and somewhere along the line we changed dragons into dinosaurs and then said that they predated humans. But maybe dragons existed at the same time as humans, and then somewhere our wires got crossed, and now we're calling them dinosaurs. So let's see.
So how does that make you feel?
I think elements of both of those versions have to be true. Like my philosophy is that anything that they tell us from an official mainstream stance has to have some reason they're putting it out that way. So I'm like, could it be true? Yeah, but I don't take everything at face value. There had to be something, but like I would be totally willing to believe that this is, some crazy dimension that we really only know so little about, and that maybe there could have been a time in the past where there were all these different types of beings that existed. It would make sense to me, if there really is, we know there really is some sort of elite priestly class at the top. It would make perfect sense for them to keep putting out this narrative of like establishing this paradigm where we only believe in, Darwinian physical evolution, only, galactic space travel to the far reaches of the moons, and and all and prepping this alien stage, but trying to really rule out any sort of spiritual phenomenon. Like to me that just makes sense. Do I think dinosaurs exist or didn't exist? No, I don't. I'm not saying that, but I don't necessarily.
So let me change your mind.
Please do, bro.
No, I don't know. I don't. So, okay. Anyway, the word dinosaur did not come about until 1841.
Really?
So there was no conception of dinosaur until 1841. Meanwhile, we have stories of dragons that go back
For thousands of
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Richard Owen coined the word dinosaur, originally dinosauria, in 1841, and it originates from two Greek words, dinos, and meaning terrible, powerful, wondrous, and saros, meaning lizard. So powerful lizard.
Terrible, powerful.
What does that
lizard.
sound like?
Godzilla.
A dragon.
A dragon.
It honestly does. And like, sure, somebody out there might be like, well, they just called dinosaurs dragons before that. But why are they...
They did.
Right. Why
They
are
did.
they so commonly depicted with wings and or being able to fly if it's just like dinosaurs with a different name? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, that's pretty wild to me. And also, in the past like 20 years specifically, they have finally started to find enough evidence, well, or lack thereof. There are gaps, official gaps forming in what we thought we knew about dinosaurs, where now we genuinely have no idea of anything other than just the bones. of
Right.
dinosaurs.
And dude, not even that. There has never been a complete
Yeah.
skeleton found
Ever.
of a dinosaur.
All the
But
one-
you're going to tell me that dinosaurs predate humans, but you have cave drawings of dinosaurs done by Native Americans in the Grand
How is
Canyon.
that possible if they were supposed to be all these millions of years ago before humans existed? Dude, my dad was telling me recently that they have, in the last several years, found, I say quote here because we're open-ended, are they dinosaurs or the dragons, whatever. All could be true, right? But they found, like, dinosaur bones that still had layers of flesh on them.
What? For real?
Yeah.
Like preserved?
Like fossilized?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where my brain goes. Is like, yeah, I think dinosaurs existed. I don't know if the timeline is correct, but what I think is that we know now that they are so remarkably similar. For instance, to what's it called? Like fowl type animals, like chickens and
Because the majority of
soft tissue.
Yeah,
You can look it up, by the way.
the majority of dinosaur bones that have been found, the large majority are hollow.
right. And like, come on, why are they hollow? Unless that's like some evolutionary thing where they need to fly.
Right.
You know what I'm
The only
saying?
hollow boned animals that we really know of fly.
Yeah, so I feel like there was probably like way more feathered dinosaurs running around than we thought. Which, like, if that's possible, then why is it so hard to believe that some of these big creatures also had, like, bat-type wings, where it's, like, leathery and it matches the rest of the skin on their body? You know what I'm saying? Like, like that just... these things all could have existed together or at different times or whatever, but I truly don't have a problem at all believing that like some form of dragons like it absolutely existed. There's
Right.
thousands of years of recorded history.
Yeah, at the same time as humans.
Yeah.
And I just did look it up. They did find dinosaur bones with soft tissue in them. But I'm going to throw y'all a curveball that is not necessarily about dragons, but it kind of adds to the case of, what if we really did exist at the same time as dinosaurs? Have either of you heard of the London hammer?
No.
There was a sledgehammer found, like a fossilized sledgehammer found deep underground in sediment in the London area that is dated to be 500 million years old.
No way.
500 million.
Wait.
I
the
thought
Lon-
dinosaurs were extinct
the-
65 million ago.
The London hammer was found in London, Texas.
Oh, okay. Well, it was the London area. I might have misread a detail there. but
He never
it
said
was London. I didn't say England.
Yeah, he never said
I'm not
London.
trying to put you on the spot. I just want to say that Texas is cooler than London.
Oh, okay.
It is. It's cool, man. I've been to the airport, but
I've been to the airport. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty sophisticated tool. It may be able to be created, by I don't know, 500.
the point is, we were supposed to have started, being 10 to 12,000 years ago.
Oh, according
Not 500 million.
Right. Yeah, that's insane, dude.
Yep, the hammer is 500 million years old.
No way. Yeah, so it's like, what made that?
The rock around the hammer was 400 million years old.
Dude.
Ain't no monkeys made that.
So what are we talking about?
This is my point. My point is, I just don't believe any of the narrative that we are given.
That's a smoking gun. Like,
Well, there's more. There's all this. Have you heard about like the giant bones with the Smithsonian
I
Museum?
have actually, but go ahead.
There were like reports of the Smithsonian Museum getting giant bones and destroying them.
yep.
I don't know, bro. I mean, I'm just saying. Like,
Yeah, I think, and Graham Hancock is a very notable person in kind of this field of rewriting history. Like
Yeah.
what we're
especially
fed
with archaeology.
with archaeology. Yeah, what we're fed is not the linear progression of man. And if you think about it, like, I mean, we're probably not the first, and I would say with a lot of certainty, we're probably not the first advanced civilization to walk the planet.
I think it's
Right.
eternal,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cyclical.
over and over and over and
Cyclical,
over
yeah.
forever.
I mean, because if you go as above, so below, and you believe in reincarnation on the micro level ourselves, it has to exist in the macro level.
Exactly.
Society or the group self,
Yeah.
the hive mind or whatever you want to call it. But I don't know. I don't want to rush into this dragon stuff because I'm nearing the end and I kind of want to sit in that for a second.
Let's just sit in it for a second and breathe fire like dragons.
And let's pay homage to the Dragon of the West, Iroh.
Oh, bro, why'd you have to hit me in the heart like that, man? That Iroh is the
Godspeed.
goat. What's your like iconic favorite dragon from any extended?
Shenron, bro.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, okay. Give a little description of Shenron for those who might not know.
Shenron is also known as Shenlong
Mm-hmm.
in Japanese. He is the mythical dragon from Dragon Ball Z that is created.
It's the one on the back of my shirt that y'all saw.
The one contained within the 7 Dragon Balls. And he's a magical dragon, and when you gather the 7 Dragon Balls, which are these like mystical orbs with stars on them, and when you gather them together and you summon the dragon, you get to make a wish. And
he's like the
super
east.
cool.
He's like the Eastern style dragon, like
the really long body with the tiny arms, and he's got like the little horns on his head, and the OG like 80s Dragon Ball Z opening, it was super sick because you see like Goku and Gohan running all up Shenron's back. You know,
Yeah,
I always loved that as a kid.
yeah.
I want to run on Shenron's back in the clouds.
Yeah, see, and that's like that's an example right there. We were talking earlier about how in the East, like dragons were and are venerated as these like powerful yet benevolent magical creatures. And like Shenron very much is kind of an in-between arbiter. He doesn't side on good or bad or whatever. He is just simply
He just grants wishes.
Yeah, a magical entity, and he's super cool.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is Falcor from Neverending Story a dragon?
I'm going to say yes. Gonna just because he has a dog face doesn't mean he's not. The rest of him is a dragon, dude.
Yeah, he's
Hey,
definitely
I know
dragon.
a lot of really good people with a dog face. They don't change who you are.
What? Yeah, he's a dragon, dude. He's for sure a dragon. Mine is Ancalagon the Black from Lord of the Rings lore. It's not Lord of the Rings. We're talking about Silmarillion way far back. And Calagon is like the like progenitor of dragons, and it said that he's like pure evil, like pure, because in Lord of the Rings universe, dragons, worms, that they're like bad. They're like pretty much always bad. I mean, you think Schmaug, like the razorbacks that the ring wraiths fly on, every dragon you see in Lord of the Rings, they're not good, they're bad. So Morgoth, who's like the primordial evil of that universe, created the first dragon, Ancalagon, and it was said that he's so big that when he takes flight, he blots out the sun. Dang. That he's the biggest dragon of all like fantasy ever, the biggest dragon to ever exist.
Hold up. Have you seen the cosmic dragon from Dragon Ball Super?
Yeah.
That thing is like big as a galaxy, bro.
Okay. Fair. That might be a little bigger than Ancalagon the Black. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. The pretty fucking big dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Alex, what's your favorite dragon? From Dragon Tales? I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah.
I had to think hard about
I
this
loved
one
that
'cause,
show.
I don't know
So
a lot of
good.
dragons, actually,
Okay.
especially because I don't eat them. But, Fang. Avatar Roku's dragon.
Oh.
And Spirit Guide kind of thing.
That's a
So-
sick answer, dude.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Skyrim?
No.
That's just one of the other. It's a drop in the bucket of all the things that Alex would fall in love with. Skyrim.
He would have been like, he would have been old enough to play that.
Yeah, and it's also been re-released like 20 times.
Yeah.
Like you know. But I mean, that's the core, like the entire core of the game is dragons. It's all about dragons.
I'll have to check it out.
Okay.
It's sweet, dude. You're the dragonborn.
Okay, bro. Yeah, you are. You're like a human that is born in that universe. Dragons, when they speak, it's magic. It's called Thume or dragon speak, dragon shouting. So the dragonborn is, I don't know how often, if it's every 100 years or I don't know how often it is, but there's a dragonborn who is born.
I thought it was 1,000.
It might be. And it's a human who can speak Thume, dragon. And that's you in the game.
Oh.
You're the dragonborn.
You're Khaleesi.
Yeah, like you're literally walking through a field at one point and the entire like earth shakes because there's somebody on a mountain speaking dragon speech and you're like,
Second favorite answer, the dragon from Game of Thrones who was acting up and eating people, and then everybody came crying to...
Oh my God, what's his name?
I don't know.
Is this one of Khaleesi's dragons?
Yeah, the one that was like eating farmers and stuff.
Yeah. And they had to put him in that dungeon.
They put all of them in the dungeon,
Right.
but it was one of them, I think, that was acting up.
What about the one that died and then the Night King reanimated his corpse?
Oh.
That was my
intense.
least favorite dragon.
That was intense.
That went so hard. Remember how fast it was?
Mm-hmm.
The first time you see it fly, it's like the Flash. It's like...
that freaking dragon. When that dragon died,
Bro. The one that really got me is when they were just like... She was just like flying in the sky and it was all peaceful, and then it just gets impaled by like 3 massive harpoons and gets taken down.
Yep.
I guess we don't have to put a spoiler on.
No, that's been out. That's been
Yeah.
finished for a couple of years now.
But if you're like me and you haven't seen it, it's still worth it. Watch it. I
Oh
had
my-
it spoiled before I watched it, and it was still great.
Yeah.
So, anyway, let's get back to my notes.
Yes.
Here's what I thought was interesting. So, no complete dragon fossil or skeleton or dinosaur has ever been found, right? So I'm like, okay, well, the most complete one was a Hadrosaurus, and it was famous because it was the most complete skeleton unearthed in 1858, but that is only a couple years after 1841 when the word dinosaur was created. So they were finding these fragments of bones and guessing, then made up the word dinosaur, and then, oh no, like 10 years later,
We suddenly found a huge
a very,
one.
very complete one. And it's a dinosaur for sure because we know it.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're like trying to pay little tours of it at the carnival.
Okay.
Man eating chicken.
The way you structured that sentence, and they're trying to pay at the carnival.
They're charging tours right next to the hairy lady.
He said they're trying to pay tours at the carnival
They are tours of it.
next to the hairy lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your dinosaur bones.
Dude, that's wild.
You got to walk through the gift shop and get the plastic dinosaur bones to take home. So anyway, that's the end of my notes.
Dude, dragons. Dragon tail.
All
right, Nick.
Yeah.
What's your biggest takeaway from today?
My biggest takeaway from today is probably that they pay tours at the carnival to see the dinosaur bones. No, my biggest takeaway is that there are elements associated with zodiac years. Like, it's not just year of the dragon, it's year of the wood dragon, water chicken, air spider. I meant air monkey.
I think Water Chicken is a summer league baseball team.
he was
name.
a water chicken.
I'm a water rooster.
Oh, right. My bad.
If we're being proper, it's the cock.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It is.
So like a water cock.
Yeah, and imagine how disturbed I was when I found that out as a child when I was in Cracker Barrel and saw a pamphlet of the Chinese
Hey,
zodiac.
roosters are badass. Roosters
Yeah.
are badass,
Well,
dude.
You know,
Gamecocks, bro. They fight each other.
I've actually had roosters on my property, and I don't think they're that badass.
Why? They're
I
mean?
just don't, man. I just don't. I've seen them. They've got 2 little twiggy legs, man, and they're really, you could just step on it.
Yeah, well, listen, I recently, very recently, like 2 or 3 days ago, heard a story about a very badass rooster. Somebody that I was working with said that they have chickens and they have one rooster because apparently what a rooster is supposed to do is protect the hens from any threats or whatever.
He's looking after his lady.
Yeah, that's apparently how it's supposed to be. Well, this one was fully doing the opposite.
Oh, my
Fully.
God.
Like, it was like terrorizing them and tearing them up and then also attacking the person that I was talking to. She said that, like, she would walk outside and see him across the yard, and as soon as he knew that she was outside, he would barrel towards her as fast as possible, flapping and running, and just like launch directly at her face, like trying desperately to hurt her in any way possible.
They've been known to do that. When my dad was a little boy, he had a pet rooster that he named John, and it was his buddy. And when my grandpa would be out in the yard, you know, they had like the whole farm back then and all that. My grandpa would be out in the yard. The rooster, you know that a lot of breeds of rooster have spikes.
This one did, the one that, yeah.
Spurs.
Spurs, yep. And that little sucker would run up and it would spur my grandfather.
Yeah.
And it spurred him over and over and over. And just like my grandpa got fed up with it. So one night my dad found out, where's John? Where's John?
You shot it?
Well, they served John for dinner. It
Uh,
was mean. They couldn't.
No, that's exactly how this story ends. She said that the rooster was attacking her, attacking the other hens, and then one day her girlfriend came outside and the rooster tried to attack her, and it was like, all right, that's because she also has a little daughter who's like less than 10 years old. And so they were like afraid for her safety and all this stuff. And so after that happened, she shot the poor rooster.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's like, what are you going to do? Like put that rooster on somebody else, try to give it away, or like they tried setting it loose. It just kept coming back, tearing through the fence. And,
on sight.
Yeah, getting to the hens. So she was like, I had to pull out the 9 one morning and just finish it. I was like, damn, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, if I got spurred by a rooster, I'd just kick the shit out of it.
Well, that's what he did.
And
he
then
kicked it.
Yeah. And then
my grandpa.
And then I'd go into the house, and then I'd come back out. And
My dad
we'd
found
be
out
having
later.
chicken for dinner.
My dad found out later that he ate his friend John.
Yeah, well, what you
So
got to
he ran
do
away.
is you got to cook the chicken, regardless of how you prepare it. Then you got to go outside to the other roosters, and you got to eat it in front of them.
Yeah.
To say, this is what happens when you start spurring people.
Exactly.
You know, in Japanese culture, there is a dish where you coat chicken with egg. And I don't know the Japanese word, but the dish translates to mother and child.
Well, that's essentially every time you've ever eaten fried chicken, that's what's happening. Is that you cover it in eggs and then you cover it in batter. And every time I eat fried chicken, I'm like, this feels like some fucked up ritual.
It's mother and child.
I'm just bathing the mother in the friggin' mixed up carcasses of her dead children. And then frying it like it's pretty macabre.
It's good, though.
It's good, though. It's real good, though. So I hope you all learned a lot today.
Well, Ryan, what's your takeaway?
My biggest takeaway, honestly, the thing that blew my mind the most was that there were no like drawings or depictions of dragons in the East for thousands of years, yet there's so much text and culture about them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there were no depictions of them that long ago.
That probably came about within just like the past couple thousand years.
Wow.
Which is wild. Because you do see like the depictions of the dragons and stuff and how they look. They always have like big eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Which honestly is kind of a strong argument for them to just be myth.
What do you mean?
The fact that it's all story and no picture.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, everybody who tried to draw a picture probably got eaten by a dragon, so that's probably
Well,
why.
hold still.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm getting the leg right.
Yeah.
Have you guys? I don't know about you guys, but I've been to like some of the prominent art museums, like the Smithsonian Art Museum, the MoMA, the Modern Art Museum, the Louvre in Paris, and I can't remember. I think it was at the Smithsonian Art Museum. There's a lot of there's like what do you call it? Different cultures, different periods, like you have Baroque art, Renaissance art, whatever, different periods of history. They'll group a lot of these pieces, and there was one that I think was painted in like the 15 or the 16 or the 1700s, obviously way before there was cameras and stuff like that. And it was people drawing like tigers and sharks and lions. And keep in mind, these people maybe saw one once in their life.
Right.
And they look so wonky.
Yeah.
Like some of the paintings of like being out at sea and there's like a shark poking out of the ocean. These are like real, like famous classical art pieces.
Yeah.
And the shark looks like has little like personified faces. Like they didn't know what this stuff looked like. Even real stuff that we see all the time now on TV and movies and whatnot. They had no clue what this stuff. Dude, they might have seen a lion once.
Yeah, ever.
Or a drawing of one. And they're like, oh, so cool. You never know what about depictions and all that. But
yeah, they didn't have scuba gear. They couldn't dive down and see what a shark looked like.
Yeah, they didn't have National Geographic.
Right,
like they weren't just around sharks. If they were, it was it's attacking them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'd imagine it'd be the same with dragons, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
But for me, the fact that all these different cultures have this like language and description of them, I just think it's really weird. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. I'm open. I don't die on the hill that, you know, they were real or they weren't real, but I think it's very cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What about you, Alex? What'd you take away with all your research? What was your big takeaway? That peasants can't eat dragon?
Well, I knew that.
You knew that.
Probably just how old the myth is, I think.
Yeah, I didn't realize it went so far back.
And I really like the religious connections and the stories told in different ways, and it's kind of like it's very on brand for Bledsoe Said So. So it was cool to come across that in my research.
Yeah, the Babylon part was the most exciting part.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, well, let's go whip out last week's episode.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more, check out our other videos.
And before you go, don't forget to subscribe. See you next week. Peace.